Oh my God, can everyone hear me? I'm nervous. I hate that I'm like a billion years into the YouTube game, but I still don't know how to do anything. So, uh, hi. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Oh, good. Yay. I don't know how long I'm going to. People ask me how long I was going to keep this live stream up. I think I'm going to try and keep it up for the weekend. I kind of like to have the live stream separate. I don't want to like make another channel for it. I think that'd be kind of weird. But hi everybody. I am so excited to talk to you. I'm on time. Yeah. Color people time can be 1 minute early sometimes. Wow, so many of you guys are already here early. I hope you guys are good. Tomorrow is WandaVision o'clock. Can't wait for that. So yeah, I reached just over 80,000 subscribers the other day. And I was super excited and humbled by it because, YouTube has always been sort of for pleasure. Um, and yes, it's great to make that coin, but it is also more important for me to know that I am evolving and nourishing and flourishing in the setting and trying to be a positive force in the Black YouTube community and nerd YouTube community, blurred stuff, all that shit. I'm always gonna be me, uh, and I'm always gonna be growing and evolving. And part of someone asked me like about my old content, and part of why I keep it up, if I'm being quite frank, is because like all of that is part of the journey. And all of that has been part of me getting into a place. And I like showing that I was wrong. I like showing that I have changed. I like showing that it is possible to start off one place and end up another place. Of course, I will say overall, above board, I do look back and I was like, Princess wasn't foolish. She's a little foolish, but not too foolish, not too foolish. So that's a good feeling. And so, yeah, today I just wanted to celebrate, do this AMA. Thank you, JRL Studios, who has done some amazing fan art for me, who made stickers that are going to be released on Patreon. It's just taking a while. I'm going to do merch soon. It takes me forever to get this stuff. Y'all know quarantine depression just be hitting so spectacularly. It's like, I want to be good. I want to be progress. I want to do shit. But then you're like, but this anime though, like I've watched, like I'm on the beginning of the last half of the season of The Sopranos. And that's where I'm at right now. Oh, thank you, Keegan. That's so nice. I really do love working for Storied. Storied has been so much fun. I think we have an episode an episode coming out today or tomorrow about the Harlem Renaissance. So excited. I wrote that script. I got to film it and write it. And let me just say, like, one of the big things that I'm trying to bring to this channel and also bring to Nebula is like I love history. So I have so many like Black specific history videos that I'm going to be doing on both channels. I was actually working with I think the boy in blue, he's here doing a thing about a history of like Black actorship in the US and the UK. So I'm definitely trying to do big things and Black things, but just all year round, not just on Black History Month, because that's not how we live here. King of Pointless, gun to your head, would you rather watch Bridgerton or Ryan Murphy's Hollywood? Bridgerton. Let me tell you, I'm retrospectively even angrier at Ryan Murphy's Hollywood because I finally watched Introducing Dorothy Dandridge on HBO Max. If you got it, watch it. Halle Berry, actress. I met her once at when we was doing the circuit for John Wick. She actually liked and responded to my Instagram post. So if you find Instagram, you can find it. But she is so talented. And just looking at the history of Dorothy Dandridge, and what she overcome and how just loving a white man too hard at the wrong time just fucked up our whole shit. I was like, I understand. I did like that show even more, and I would say check out Be Kind Rewind's videos about that era because her work is so good. Yes, Be Kind Rewind. Someone just mentioned them. I know her IRL too, and they are just an amazingly kind person. They're actually helping me out with a project that I'm working on for the future. But there's so much great, thoughtful information about the actual trailblazers and women of color in that community that we don't need to be making shit up and have a beautiful melanated woman who can she act? But she gorgeous, beautiful gowns, beautiful gowns. Yes, I do know about the Avatar studio. I am very excited about it. They're making a movie. I'm super excited. I really have appreciated Bright being upfront about not being part of this live action movie, which started smell a little funky. Started to smell a little funky, Netflix, but we will see. I am excited. I am hoping that that they will bring in more Asian, Southeast and East, and the entire Asian diaspora into the studio to have Asian people behind the scenes and in doing some voice acting, especially because there's this time jump, so we can have room for Asian actors to voice Asian inspired characters and just to work behind the scenes, whatever they have, and also for it to be gay as fuck, because we know that there is gayness, queerness in the Avatar universe, with Kaya, with Korosami, with Avatar Kyoshi, okay, which we all clocked that. Real ones knew. So I'm excited to see what they do and how they evolve and build in there. Thoughts on the Britney Spears documentary? Britney is my white sister, so you know that I really want what's best for her. I think that we all can retrospectively look back at that period in pop culture media. And really, I think that through a lot of things, we have to kind of come to terms with the way that white feminism, and I say specifically white feminism because I think Black people like Britney. Black people love Britney. Hi Rachel, I love you. You're my sweetie. We have to. Me and Angie need to hit you up because we about to work on a Family of the Opera project, girl. We gonna do that shit. But Britney. So with Britney Spears and Angelina Jolie, and even though she might say Megan Fox, there are so many women that specifically white feminism forced into these boxes and destroyed them as much as they lifted them up, specifically because I think white feminism and feminism as a whole has really struggled on how to deal with women who are forced to exist in toxic patriarchal cultures. And the shorthand has often been to blame the woman. And I think that Britney Spears, specifically because we watched her grow up, because she was so young, because she got caught up in all that Britney Justin thing, and because she was having like a mental health experience that none of us had the language for. Thank you, Anton. Thank you for being you. I love that sticker. She got caught up with it. And we as young people, because I was like teenager young when that happened, we definitely didn't have the language for that. So we just absorbed what was being told to us, and we had to dissect it on our own level of like, but Britney's that bitch though. And I'm glad that we're going to have this conversation, especially how it intersects with ableism, how it intersects with just how we treat people who are going through these issues. Just like with homelessness, we are only one step away from being in a place of being disenfranchised. So I think it's always important that when it comes to these issues, we take the celebrity out of it. Because if someone like Britney Spears, one of the most important pop stars of all time, can have her rights completely stripped for her, hello. King of Pointless, thank you again. Our Ghost was hosted by a Black girl. It's all about retro athletics. Oh, I have to check that out. That sounds really interesting. I love that. But yeah, the Britney stuff has been super interesting because of that. But yeah, we know Black people know Britney was up. We knew she loved Janet. That's a mother-daughter duo right there. So, and my favorite Britney Spears song, number one is "Crazy the Stop" remix. That's one. Crazy to Stop remix forever and always. Thank you, Ashley. I love you and I miss you a lot. So many people who I've known from day one are in here. Crazy to Stop remix. When she has that green thing and she just like does a chair thing, a moment. That was like Britney was doing that shit. I think after that, it would probably be Me Against the Music with her and Madonna. Like, that shit was fire. The Glee cover of that, back when Glee covers used to be something, something. Whew. Oh, not Leah Michelle's cover. Leah Michelle's cover of Baby Hit Me One More Time is an example of how just because you can sing doesn't mean you can sing everything, girl. Because Britney knows her range to tease. We gotta bring Pharrell to the Red Table Talk for slavery. Not the Red Table Talk. Listen, there's enough white people who need to go on the Red Table Talk right now. So, I mean, the Red Table Talk is such an interesting thing because I both R.I.P. Naya. This is like a slight detraction. Sorry, my brain is like going everywhere. But like, losing Naya still hurts. You know, I talk like losing Naya and Chadwick and just so many people who became ancestors mad quick. It's just it's a reminder of how we just have to remind ourselves to live. You know, I have Cicely Tyson's memoir. I got it from a Black bookstore is coming in soon. Just like so many people are ancestors right now. And it's just like, it really, live your best life, guys. Live your best life as hard as you can because you don't never know. Hi, Sarah Z. Thank you so much. Sarah Z's a real one. Let us see. Ooh. Womanizer is also a Bob JRL. Like, Womanizer, If You Seek Amy and Kill the Lights, Circus was an album. Justice for Circus. Mr. Woodard 91. One of my best friends' last name is Woodard as well. Least important. Oh, the comment is least important part of you and your work. But that I'm absolutely gorgeous. Thank you. I feel more confident the older they get. I'm gonna be 29 this year, guys. Which is insane. Sorry, trying to get that language out of the way. It is bizarre to me because I feel like I wanted to be 30 since I was like 12 years old. I was like one of those like sad teens who was like, when I'm an adult, everything's gonna make sense. And for the most part, that has been true. I feel like as I get older, I feel like my life makes more sense to me with my queerness, with my Blackness. Like, especially if you see my older stuff, my Black identity has been so much more solidified that I'm going from 28, 29, 30. Like, I'm so much happier and fuller as a human being that I can't wait. I just hate that I've had to spend the last 2 years of my 20s in this fucking quarantine. Like, that's the bummer. It's not anything because like my skin look good, my hair look. I can do a wing eyeliner down there. I can blend my own makeup now. Shit, I'm like, I have a beautiful girlfriend who makes me happy. I understand my sexuality and my queerness. Like, I'm good. I just need this universe to be okay. Because once I start hitting my 30s, I'm gonna be a published author, girl. I'm gonna be fucking going to meetings and shit, uplifting other people. That's what I'm thinking about. The future is gonna be fire. HP, thank you. It has been a lot this last 10 years. And I think the thing that I think has always been helpful for me is that primarily this was a place for me to find community. And I think when I read the comments, that still happens. Like, even though I've grown so much, like, the community of you guys has remained so strong. And I could not do it without y'all. Like, dead ass. Like, that is what makes this worth doing. Like, is being able to make good content for my community of friends, of kin, of, in a way, collaborators, because y'all give me good ideas. King of Plus, why'd I say Z and not Z, American woman? I'm colonized, don't you know? No, but Sarah Z, the Z in their name is Z, so I say it that way out of respect for my Canadian YouTube cuz. So that's why I say it. Let's see. Let me get to the comments. Sorry, I'm trying to keep up with everything. I'm surprised that there are almost 300 people here. Like, Cat Black has a live stream. Like y'all should go watch her. Cat Black is everything. Let's see. What questions have I been missing? Although I remember when I was in England and I was like, I heard Zed for the first time. I was like, what? What? I was like, what? What is this? Who do that? I know you had issues with Marty Garcia and Daryl's colors on the new X-Men series. I love to hear your thoughts. I've actually enjoyed all the queerness in the latest X-Men series because I think that X-Men is like the reason why I'm a Marvel supremacist. No, I'm not. I'm a DC supremacist, but I'm X-Men evangelical. Like I love the X-Men. I think that they are excellent. I think that they are like that whole what's the name of them others? The Immortals, the Incorrigibles, the what are them things are? Anyway, the eyes, whatever the like alternate X-Men peoples are. They can't hit the same because there's just something about the X-Men that is just so Inhumans. That's what they are. I was like the incorrigibles. The rich, the fancy rich people. The X-Men stuff has been really cool. I love all of that stuff. I'm behind, but one of my best friends, Aaron, who's my coven mate, we've been talking about it. And like from the moment that I heard that Cyclops and Logan and Jean and Emma had worked this shit out, I was like, sign me up. My favorite X-Men is Rogue. I think if you see here next to Demona, I have a Rogue print where she's holding Gambit. But yeah, the X-Men are excellent, which is why like the fact that we've only had like 2 good X-Men movies is like, how dare they? What a like, like the frustrating thing about being someone who's anti-capitalism, but also like enjoys nerd content is that like um, for so long, I have just wanted good nerd content, and Disney seems to be doing it. I don't want to support Disney like that, but they doing it, so I'm just gonna have to do it. King of Pointless, favorite Sarah Zed video. Oh, there's so many. I will say the Onceler thing was hilarious because I had not seen the Lorax until after I watched her video. I had like seen the first part of it, and then I watched the video. Then I watched the Lorax with my girlfriend, and I was like, "Wait, that's the Onceler." It was like seeing a celebrity. I'm like, oh, "That's the one." And then we instantly started. I was like, "We gotta watch the whole video now. Gotta watch the whole video." And I love that video. But I think my favorite is actually the videos that she did on Sherlock and on Supernatural, because I think it's just really important to illustrate that there is a difference between fandom anxiety about queer baiting and how a lot of shows will co-op queerness to sell, but also when people co-op that anxiety and turn it into like the toxicity of internet culture. And I think those 2 videos really do a good job of synthesizing that. So I would definitely check those out. I feel like X-Men Evolution is the best X-Men cartoon to me. Like I know it's not perfect, but it's my favorite one because there is no love triangle. And also Rogue's outfits were flavorful. Loved it. Robert Bell. I highly recommend listening to the Cerebro cast by Connor Goldsmith. It's a really good queer X-Men podcast. I have heard of it, but I haven't listened to it, and I need new podcasts because a lot of my podcasts like are behind, and I truly do live my life from podcast to podcast. What is your favorite My Hero Academia arc episode thus far? I love My Hero Academia. That show really got me so quickly. I don't want to drop them. I have a Bakugo Fig. I have Sue. And he's always fallen. My sweet Sadako, I love you. I love you. I didn't think I was gonna like that show because I've been trying to like, you know, not be too into shonen sometimes because sometimes shonen be shonen in. But I really love it so far. I think the battle between um the big villain, I always mess it up. It's all for one and All Might. Amazing. That to me is what I want every Superman movie to feel like. Like when he said United States is smash, I was like, I'm not even a patron at all, but I was just like, yes, get that villain. That's been really great, and I also love all the stuff going on with Shoto. Is so good. Todoroki's supremacy, and I love the episode where they have to babysit them kids who have like these really intense quirks. What a good world building episode. I haven't read the manga, even though I do know certain spoilers, but we're not gonna talk about that right now. But I've only watched the anime, so I'm looking forward to it. I know people hate Deku, but that's okay. Y'all didn't respect Yusaki when she was here, but Cancer protagonist supremacy gonna thrive. Um, let me just go back up real quick. Favorite DC villain? Darkseid. Love a thick, thick evil Rockman. Jack Kirby's supremacy. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, they need to really stop casting Storm recklessly. It's too much. Do I have an OTP? I'm guessing from My Hero Academia. I think I said this in the last live. My girlfriend is a Kiribaku stan, so I am required to ship that in solidarity. But I also really love Todoroki and Deku. They mad cute, so I'm really into them. Yeah. Naomi, I love your. Thank you so much. You guys are so sweet. Elena, thoughts on her cake? Do my AMVs and your buy icon. Oh, thank you for catching this live stream. I actually have. Should I share it with you guys? Okay, I don't know how to share things on here. Because I would just show you the image. But I have a video that I've been planning for March. I guess I'll just spoil it to you guys here. But I am working on a video about the bisexual sort of legacy of I Kissed a Girl by Katy Perry, because that song came out when I was about 15 or 16, back when I was making AMVs. And I made 2 AMVs, Disney AMVs, with that song. And it was a song that I would sit in my room and I would belt out and I would sing. And it was a way for me to talk about being bi without talking about being bi, and sort of the bisexual culture of that time, where there were a lot of female stars coming out as bi, but then they were like, actually. So I really want to talk about kind of like bi culture in like the late aughts and sort of what it has to say about bisexuality now. So yeah, that is my plan. So I am looking forward to talking to you about that. Ranshira MTG, will you be doing MTG content? Would love to play a game of Commander with you. I would love that too. I'm gonna try and do more game nights on my Discord. The reason why I don't talk about Magic the Gathering as much is because honestly, I love playing it more than anything else. I think that there are a lot of lore things that I find are interesting, but I feel ill-equipped to speak about it. And I would rather just, if you know anyone who is a Black person or a BIPOC person or a woman, any of that intersectionality who talks about that stuff, let me know so I can elevate them, because I feel like that is more of what I can do for Magic. But I do love to play. I'm on a lot of streams. I have an episode coming out with Quest for the Jank Lord soon, and I'm so excited. It's like a super great red deck, mono red deck. So I'm looking forward to sharing that with you guys. But yeah, but if you ever want to play, like hit me up. Hi Maggie, because I love playing Magic. The By Legacy of My Best Friend's Hot. Is that a song? I don't know if that's the song, but it is a song because I quoted it. Ooh, the Dolly Roots. Huh. And there's so many songs like that. There are so many songs that are just kind of like, I low key love my best friend, but I'm not trying to actually define myself. Um, Captain Omni, I'm an asexual. There definitely needs to be more ace representation. I think that part of the issue for a lot of people is that, and I talked about this back a couple of years ago when I talked about Jughead and Riverdale, is that people really don't know how to talk about relationships outside of sex. They don't know how to talk about it outside of romance. So they very much force people into it. But I think it's actually quite easy. I mean, I'm watching Bloom Into You right now, the anime, and my girlfriend is ace, and I want to watch it with her because I feel like there's a lot of bisexual undertones to it. But I don't think that. But then they do this thing like, well, then she's actually just a lesbian, and I don't really know how they work with it. Oh my god, thank you, Micah. Oh, is that a little dog? That is the cutest thing. That's so cute. But I definitely think there needs to be more than just Todd from BoJack. I think that they did a really good job of showing asexual representation. We still need, arrow representation. It's like a romantic people. I'm trying to do my part in that with own work that I've been doing, but I definitely think that there needs to be more discussion about, and I think it kind of breeds into just like the toxic culture of how we talk about sex and relationships, that it always has to be about, that's the only kind of intimacy that there is. Like there's just also just love and kindness and spending time with each other. Like there is required to have range. Sela in the Space is getting a show. Yes, definitely read as asexual to me. But yeah, there's a lot of characters that I think could be read as ace, but then are not ace. Like I thought, like I would see like before they ruined him in Yashahime, I definitely see Shishomaru as like asexual or aromantic. But they don't got the range. They definitely don't have the range now. So yeah, uh it's very frustrating. But yeah, I think there needs to be a good representation of just like the asexual spectrum and just the aromantic spectrum, and just finding a way to represent a community that doesn't get a lot of representation anyway. Someone asked, what is your favorite problematic anime? Do I have one? There's got to be one. I mean, I think at this point, I tend like there. I think there's a lot of anime I like that have problematic elements to it, but I wouldn't say as a whole they're problematic. I think that Clamp, Clamp, Clamp as a brand, as a franchise is probably the most problematic thing I still actively consume. They have problematic elements to their work. I wouldn't say all their work is problematic, but it's definitely there. Have you seen Cheryl Dune's The Watermelon Woman? No, I haven't. I've heard of it, but I have not seen it. Russian Spy. Love you, Boy in Blue. Have a good one. I want to recommend Russian Spy said I want to recommend Fort Salem. It's an amazing show with a central relationship with a bi woman and a lesbian. Oh, love that. And good POC representation. I will check that out because I definitely want to check that out. Oh, I love Future Diary, but it is a lot to take in, for sure. What are some of your top anime recommendations for someone starting out? I love Steins Gate. Is it Oh, I need to rewatch it because I don't remember the transphobia, but I definitely need to recheck that because sometimes you don't even realize it when you're first watching something, which is why we should all, always be evolving. So let me get to. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Totally forgot what I was gonna say. Steins Gate. Da, 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 da. Okay, I'll do Andre's question, and then I'll try to figure out what the hell I was thinking about. Not MC specific, but do you think Wanda should be a mutant? Also, WandaVision thoughts. So without spoilers, because I know a lot of people don't or want to binge watch it. Also, I'm doing a whole video on Clamp coming up. It's gonna be in the future, but I literally just bought a whole bunch of Clamp stuff like Clover, Wish, and everything. Beginner anime. Get back to that, but let me do this other question first. So I definitely think that Wanda bringing back the mutants in some way would be really interesting. Because of her powers, and I think the show's exploring her powers better. I love WandaVision a lot. I think that as someone who grew up watching, a bunch of white sitcoms, I get it so good. I love Bewitched and I Dream of Jeannie. I grew up watching that. I grew up watching Growing Pains. Show me that smile. Ooh, show me that smile. Don't waste another minute on your crying. So I used to be able to sing that whole song. I still can. So there is definitely a lot that it hits for me. And I do love everything that they're doing with Monica. First of all, when she took off that outfit, I was like, girl, photon, Spectre. I'm only human. You don't have to do it on me like that, girl. So gorgeous. Loved everything they've been doing so far. It just has evolved so well. I think that, again, Elizabeth Olsen, even though she needs to learn to stop saying the G word and learn a little bit more comfortable sensitivity about Romani people, I think she's doing an amazing job as Wanda. And finally, I feel like that character is actually doing something. Vision is visioning in the best way possible, and that's fine to me. Let me do this next question, and then I'll get back to beginner anime. Do you think Marvel cast a super young actress for America Chavez to avoid addressing her sexuality, which is what Kay Walton is asking? I don't know. It is certainly possible. But I do think that more and more we have been making media that is more comfortable with the idea that younger people are queer. And I think that would be just really disingenuous of them, especially considering that most children's media today is already queer. That I think there's no reason why they should stay away from it. They might because they're weak, but it's, and also depends, because I also think that it could also just be showing her coming to realize that she is queer. So I'm hoping that they have a good reason to do so, because and either way, we know she is, and unless they straight wash her, we don't have to focus on her sexuality. But if they find a way to straight wash her, then we have to be like, back to thank you, Pablo. Oh my gosh, you guys are being way too one. Oh my god, you guys are being way too nice to me. Thank you so much. Beginning anime depends on what you like. Anime gets lumped together as one big hodgepodge, but there's different genres, different age demographics, and different ranges. So it really depends on what you like. If you just want a really good story, Lone Wolf and Cub is really good. If you like horror elements, maybe check out Akira. If you really like sort of big epic stories, there are a bunch of that. If you like a war thing, Berserk is really interesting. I haven't finished it, but there's something for everybody. So it really depends on your taste. Me, I'm a magical girl stan. So I love Sailor Moon. I would say that, and even with that is very question, because if people ask me how to get into Sailor Moon, I'm like, read the manga. So it depends on what you like. But if you just want a good, solid anime that everybody likes, Cowboy Bebop, Ghost in the Shell, Samurai Champloo, Anime Miyazaki. Yes, I count it all as anime. I don't care what anyone says. And if you like robots, Macross Plus, which I don't know if, have I seen Princess Tutu? Yes, I have. I love Princess Tutu. Someone's doing something upstairs. You reading John C. Reilly's other DC stuff? The other I have not, but I will check that out. I love to find out new things. I've been reading so much of the same stuff. I've been reading a lot of romance novels, actually. I actually do love romance a lot. Growing Pains is so upsetting because Kirk Cameron's such trash. It's we have that from Growing Pains, Candace from fucking Full House, Melissa from fucking Sabrina, like, y'all. What do you think of the female characters in My Hero Academia? Um, they did Momo dirty. She was presented as one of the most capable things. You know, just speaking from what I've seen of just the anime, I think that a lot of shonen have the same issue of they'll always have a lot of female characters that are like mostly cool, and then they're gonna be like, actually, we just can't have you doing too many things. You must only do two things. I do think overall I like the female characters in My Hero Academia. I think that the women in there are fun. They just don't get a lot of screen time because it just ends up being about Deku and Kachan, Bakugo. And as a result, women get pushed to the side. But that is the case in most shonen. I do think Momo has a lot of potential. I hope that they do more with her. All I wanted to do is kill off Mineta. Everyone in class A, 1A is my child, except Mineta. hate that. Okay, I have a bunch of questions. Let me get to them. Okay, Emily Pearson, love Daria. Icon, by the way. My older sister actually worked on the last season of Daria. So Vince Rumiko Takahashi hand you a big bag of money, I'm assuming, to fix Yashahime. What would you change? What story would you tell? Okay, so it depends. So I'll do two scenarios. If there is a scenario where they do want to do, where they're like, but you have to do the Ren Shishomaru thing, I would say, okay, I would have the series take place like the same 16 years in the future. Let me just do some quick math because counting is not what I do. So Rin is 8 when we meet her. After the time jump, at the end of the series, she's 11 plus 16. She'd be a nice 27, right? I would have it jump up to there at least 14 or 16 years and have Mohara be bored. You can still have the same guy who's like, I don't like doing that whole McDuff thing where he's like, I can't have a half demon will kill me thing. So a third demon is even scarier. And have her parents, get sucked into the same crystal, and she has to go seek out to save them with the help of her grumpy uncle Shishomaru. Rin has, become really close friends with Kohaku and is a demon slayer in her own right. And she decides to help because she owes Kagome for always helping her. And during that time, you realize that her and Shishomaru have not really spoken because they're like, to me, the thing with Shishomaru is like, he's a paternal figure, but he's also not exactly a father figure because he's not doing a lot. He just thinks she don't die. And she starts to see him in a different way, and they can do that whole Emma Knightley thing. But you get to see her have autonomy, and she's a grown-ass woman making grown-ass woman decisions. So I would, if I was going to do Rin and Shishomaru at all, I would do it that way. If we're not even worrying about that, I still want Rin to be a demon slayer, but you can keep Mohara. And if we wanted Shishomaru to have those children and keep them, I said we go full Wonder Woman. They made a clay and magic baby, and he raising them because we know he's pro-adoption because he loved Rin. So I would tell the story of those things, but just not have Rin's sole purpose be a broodmare. She would just either be a daughter figure, or if you're going to do that romantic pivot, make sure her agency is at the forefront. That was a long ranty way of saying that. So next, Candy Jugs. Thank you for the lovely comment. And also, if that's your art, it looks really good. Your thoughts on Michiko and Hachan? I've only watched it one time fully. I haven't. I'm planning on doing a rewatch. I know that there's been some conversation about like if Michiko is a sapphire or like an oversexed Black character. But to me, like she's an Afro-Latinx woman who is like being a badass criminal, doing badass things. And it's also this maternal story. And that she is both a sexy woman, but also treated with, autonomy. That she's on this journey, that she's romantically inclined. Her rival's another fine Black woman. They both around the same complexion. I enjoyed it. That's what I remember of enjoying it from the first time I watched it. I don't know what has changed if I would watch it now, but I definitely still like it. Next, Vincent. No, it jumped. Sorry, Vincent. Your comment was, have you ever read Scott Pilgrim? I have. Do you think Scott adequately atoned for how his self-destruction affected women? I would need to reread it, but I will say that I think that Scott grew up, but I think even if I don't think there's ever a way of atoning for stepping on other people for growth, but I do think that Scott learned to not do it again. And I think that's important. I think atonement in Scott's case isn't just about, saying sorry, but is he actually going to not do this anymore? So I'm just happy for feeling like that. Banana is like is tough. Banana is trash. um, Laura Allen, can you tell us about your book? First of all, thank you. I don't want to go too into it, but basically, the important things are that it is a historical fantasy series about series. Well, it may be a series, but right now it's focused on Black witches during the Jim Crow era, solving mysteries, killing racists, and just being magical and having magical adventures. There's kind of a magic school element, but there's also like a murder mystery element. It's a very sort of like, I think of it as sort of like a mini epic. That's kind of how I've been talking to my agent about it. I kind of say it has a lot of the things that I liked about Lovecraft Country, even though I wrote it before then. In terms that I love talking about. Actually, let me backtrack. When I was in grad school, it was the first time I sort of took the time to sort of learn about my culture outside of just an American centric way. My black, I am black. I'm saying my parents are immigrants. I'm first generation American, and my default blackness has just always been Black Americanness, and that's fine. And it's not a complaint. I love that. I love Black American culture. It is part of my culture. It's part of who I am. But I don't think I ever had a very clear understanding of like what my heritage was in the Caribbean, and also not a really clear idea of like different things in Black American society as well. So all of my mid-20s has been about me relearning my heritage, relearning about global Blackness. And so a part of what came up with this story is like writing about descendants of slaves, figuring out who they are, where their magic comes from, and what makes it different, and how things have been kept from them, and putting it and having it take place in America. Because I feel like so many times, like when we write stories about like Black magic, it always has to go back to like Africa, and there's nothing wrong with that. But like there is great heritage and history and experience that we have in the diaspora here and in the Caribbean and in South America. So I really wanted to emphasize that, and also I just like 50s aesthetics. Next question, trying to get all these big ones because you guys paid for it. And I'm just like, why? But thank you. John Corey Turner. I remember loving your amazing post on the chilling adventures of Sabrina. And I'm curious about your thoughts on Sabrina Spellman. Sabrina is like one of the worst characters I've ever seen. Like, she's not poorly written, but she's deeply, deeply obnoxious. She's so deeply obnoxious. And I think that thank you, King of Pointless. I hope you enjoyed this. She's so obnoxious. She keeps making the exact same bad decisions all the time. And for what? For what? Almost every character in there is obnoxious besides Hilda and Zelda. Like, I really just cannot stand her. And I know that the show is totally, she's like, do you remind me of like Rory Gilmore? She's completely on her side, but she annoys me. Juan, will you ever do a video on queer baiting? I'm not really sure. Mostly because I feel like it's already been discussed. And when I talked about it a little bit in my what does LGBTQ representation mean, I think that my priority right now as a queer woman is talking about how do we elevate the most marginalized voices and when things cut short of that. So like to me, I'm not even looking at this and only have potentially one piece of representation. You got to have multiples. I don't know anybody who just has one gay friend unless you're like a homophobe. You know what I mean? Like I have more queer friends than straight friends in my own life. So I'm looking for media that is not just using queer people for representation or for baiting, but to really just have queer authenticity, because that can mean a lot of different things. But yeah, I'm not invested right now in like, I'm not invested in perfect rep. I'm interested in interesting rep. That's why I love Katra, because I think that she's just such a cool, um, person, and she's a flawed cat girl, and I think that that's great. Mm. Glad you guys like the header. I think it's good. Rory Gilmore. Did I say Gilbert? I was thinking of Elena from the Vampire Diaries. Um, I do not own any cat ears that I do not. Um, let's see. Did I miss any questions? I'm sorry. I'm trying to get everyone's big ones. Is the book going to be one of a series? My agent and I have sort of talked about having it be a trilogy. And I'm interested in that because I think it'd be a fun way of me exploring sort of like the different pieces of my identity and my Blackness through the series. So um, the first book will be taking place in like a fictional area of Virginia, because most Black people still live in the South. And I really wanted to focus on sort of like Southern Black American culture, even though I made the protagonist half Black American, half Black Caribbean, because I wanted to be cognizant of the fact that like I can't speak to an entire Black American experience in the South, because that's not my reality. And I want to have some authenticity into it, but it's a fantasy, so it's not going to be fully authentic. So the first book is taking place in Virginia. The second book would be taking place in St. Lucia, which is where my father is from. And the third book would be taking place in New York City, which is where I have grown up my whole life. And I just think that's going to be so fun. I'm looking forward to that. I don't have anything yet. I'm still working on selling it. But as soon as it's there, I will be sharing it with you. And I gotta say, one of the weirdest things about writing a book is that like I'm constantly terrified and so nervous about it not being good or not being excellent. And I know that it's never gonna, I'm sure even all of you who love me might not even like it, but I know that I want to make sure it's good, that it will be a taste and not like, wow, that chick can't write at all issue. And that's two different things. So that's what I'm hoping for. Elaine, oh, thank you so much. That's so sweet. Thank you so much. I hope that you're doing well and be safe. Kipo was amazing. I love Kipo. My girlfriend actually got me into Kipo. As soon as I saw Wolf, I was like, sold. Almost everybody here is a Black person except the evil white person. Love that. So that was great. The ending, Hugo, my child, love him. Happy. I'm a POC. I'm absolutely terrified of misrepresenting my own story. Do you have any words of advice? I've kind of been thinking about how to best form this, because I've been working on this video about Lovecraft country, which I'm hoping. Thank you, Brooke. You're so sweet. That I hope will be out by the end of the month, because I want to have 2 videos up, one here and one on Nebula, by the end of the month. But what I've been thinking about with Lovecraft Country and how divisive it was is that like half of it, I would say most of it, was really good commentary on how the show was failing in terms of queerness and indigenous representation and colorism, all those kind of things. There's also a thing of like that I think all people of color put work featuring them on a pedestal because we know how much every representation matters. But it also makes it so that people have a lot of very deeply personal investment in those things that can sometimes detract from the ability to see if this is just done well or if it's truly offending you. Like I saw some people were really bothered by the Emmett Till depictions, and I'm not doubting that or criticizing anyone for feeling that way, but I don't think it was ever done to be disrespectful. I think that it was Misha Green, who I believe is Black American, dealing with the horror of Black identity and the horror of reality, along with the horror of this Lovecraftian stuff. The problem is the writing was not strong enough, in my opinion, to meld it together. And so rather than seeing it as this discussion, because it had done so much horrific trauma, seemingly only for trauma's sake, it was hard for the audience in good faith to feel like you're telling me this and you're bringing this up to educate me versus, thank you, Nick. versus you're doing this to hurt me, to traumatize me, to pull me into this story. And I think that's so hard to do. Um, oh, Tony, that sounds so exciting for your friend. Yeah, I really just want more Black stuff anyway. Like, and I think the biggest compliment you can do is write something that people like, this is good, but I think I could do something better. Because all you're going to do is have other people like, do more things. William Trent, I love your content after graduating. Something about doing a YouTube game. Any advice for aspiring video essayists? So the advice that I've gotten, audio matters more than video. Better to get an expensive, good lens than a brand new camera. Lighting is important, but audio and visuals will always take precedent. You can do a lot of stuff in iMovie that people want. I know people who edit on iMovie, but they have huge channels, but they just have very clean images. Something that's taken me a while to do. Knowing what your brand is going to be is really important, or like what you think your brand should be. I have been very lucky that, like, despite the fact that I have over like 300 pages of content, oh my god, that like I've managed to still have a brand. But just knowing the vision of what you want your channel to say and encompass is just as important as you're starting it, as you go through the journey of figuring out exactly what that means. Always give yourself room to grow, but know that you're doing something that you really enjoy. Because I genuinely enjoy talking about shows with people, and that helps a lot. And I definitely want to talk about Infinity Train, Kipo, the Owl House, okay, Amity, Blight, State Account, and all that kind of stuff. I'm just thinking of an interesting way to say it, or I might just end up doing it on Patreon and Nebula, because that's where I kind of put like my, like, I'm gonna fangirl about this kind of thing, and I put like all of my, like, these are me sitting down and thinking so hard thoughts. And I hate putting them in two separate places, but the problem is that with YouTube specifically, like, the algorithm does punish you for going outside of what your norm is. And it makes it hard as a creator to really be versatile. But thankfully, because I am doing stuff on Nebula, I'm able to do a variety of different things and give you guys an accessible place to go and find it, which I love to do. Have I ever watched the OA or Sense8? I have not finished Sense8, but I have watched it. Have you ever watched Living Single in the 90s kind of world? I'm glad I got my girls. I love Living Single, Maxine and Kyle. Okay, like, I even remember watching Half and Half when they had that spin-off episode. That was delightful. I love Black sitcoms. They're so interesting and fun to watch. Like, I will say I'm rewatching Girlfriends right now, and the phobias are out there, so it's a lot. But I'm still enjoying watching it because it's just so Black and so authentically Black. Authentically, I hate to use the word authentically, but what I mean is, what I mean by authentically Black is not that it's true to every Black person everywhere, but that it's definitely written to appeal to a Black audience. I didn't watch the game because I didn't care about football. And I don't think I would like the game, but maybe I'll try it out. I have watched WandaVision. I just don't want to spoil anything here, but I have talked about it on Nebula and on my Patreon. So there's that. Where's the name Melina Pendulum come from? Oh, actually, the person who has been helping me and getting me sponsorships and helping me with that, who said to actually change the name of the channel from Melina Pendulum to Princess Weeks, which is my actual name. But I love Melina Pendulum. Like, Melina Pendulum feels like my Sasha Fierce, so I wouldn't want to change it. But basically, when I started this channel when I was 15 years old, to bitch about Twilight, I went on behindthename.com as a great fanfic writer that I was. And I was like, I want a Greek name. And I just clicked and I saw Melina. It meant like honeycomb or something like that. And I was like, that sounds great. And I had just read in high school the Edgar Allan Poe short story, The Pit and the Pendulum. And I was like, if I were to choose one, it would be the pendulum. And uh, I picked the name of the pendulum, made an opening that was me in like goth makeup, makeup, and a shake and go wig, and my Halloween wish dress with Lacuna Coil in the background, going like, ah, like day ones know, day ones know, that yeah, I have come a long way, I must say. Y'all have seen me, like y'all saw me grow up my dreads for the first time, and now you're gonna see me do it again because I'm definitely gonna get my dreads back in a little bit. I'm just gonna try and like do this a little bit more. But like you guys have seen me grow up. You guys have watched me age over 10 years. Y'all knew more about me than my mama for some time. So, but now everybody in my family know I'm gay. So, yeah. Would you ever do a video about Black representation in animation, how it's changed, and what counts as good rep? That would be a really good thing. I actually was working for the Mary Sue, a thing about Black representation in anime, because that, whoo, Chile, that was a lot. Oh man, because I remember like everyone knew that Mr. Popo was supposed to be like us, you know. Like I remember the burnt jokes with Jinx, and then when Bleach came and we had Yorichi, Shon Horichi, the queen. People were like, but is she black though? She got purple hair. I'm like, but y'all claim all these other Aquafina haired people. But we know she us. We know Yorichi is us. Okay. Um, they let us have Tosin because he was so fucking boring in Bleach that nobody gave a shit. They're like, oh, they can have that for flavor. And then now we have Michiko, we have Carol from Carol and Tuesday, we have Ojin from Fire Force. Um, so we have gotten better Black rep. That's not Piccolo because we know Piccolo is us. Piccolo is we. But there has definitely been work in the franchise to fix it. Like the Magnica who did Soul Eater, which I love. I had like the whole like weird Soul Eater box set. This is a Black Star Stan account, even though my girlfriend hates it. Um, uh, you know, he intentionally would write Black characters into his work because he knew that Black people liked anime and he wanted to do that representation. So people know and are aware. I mean, I always talk about how like Peach Girl, which I also have art for, was like one of the first series that I read that addressed colorism. So I know that they know what's going on. It's just a matter of like our people doing it. And with Naomi Osaka, like fucking killing it in the sports game, and just the Nigerian and Ghanaian populations happening in Japan right now. You know, there's a big Japanese population in Brazil, which has the highest population of Black people outside of Africa. So there's plenty to do. There's work to be done, and some people have been doing the work. But then you get like a One Punch Man. I saw that shit. I was like, in the manga, he don't even look like that. They purposely gave him blackface lips. Maroon. I was so vexed. I was so vexed from that. I spilled my gin on my shelf. You caught it here on the live. But yeah, I definitely think that Black people in anime have absolutely evolved, and it should only get better. We hope. Yo, but I feel that like Shaman King, they really tried that. With the Choco Love, dude. I said, my God. Okay. I could not believe that they made that. And then they did like a less racist version for the new revival. The shit still looked terrible. Oh man. I have heard of Cannon Busters, but it is boring. Like I'm rooting for it, and I like the opening was fire and was the ending, but it just dragged. But if they tighten it up, I definitely love it. Like the first couple episodes, hooked in, but it dragged. Um, The Madonna's been happening because I've been watching The Sopranos. Like my girlfriend is first generation Italian, and Irish, and I like will sometimes drop something and she'd be like, "You watching that show again?" I'm like, "Fix the gabagool. Stop talking to me like that." It's Black History Month. Um, ooh. Oh, Nancy Drew and Zoe Sterling. Here it is, are white female leads with black love interest. But second season, the fans rather want the white love interest. They always do. They always do. Black Sails is fire. It was a little slow at first, but it ended up being fire. You know, I love me some Jessica Parker Kennedy, so that's my queen. I actually met her too. I have a picture with her somewhere on my phone. But I love it. I love that Jefferson Pierce don't give a fuck. I love Black Lightning. It's such a good show. It doesn't get its flowers. It makes it hard to write for it, honestly, because no one clicks on it. It's exhausting. So I finally finished rewatching the first season of Harley Quinn and then watching the second season. I do watch Dickinson. I mentioned it in my Bridgerton video. I do like that show. So Harley Quinn. Let's talk. Let me put it to the side. Here's what I realized here's what I realized why I don't like Harley Quinn, the show. It's because the first season is like the exact opposite of what I would actually consume as a Harley Quinn product. And I think that I had to realize, and I realized this through like introspection, is that it was a case of me not liking your product because I thought it should have been something different. And I will say this, I maintain that some of the things that they do just aren't funny. I think the Clayface episode with Jim Gordon is atrocious. I don't know why they did that. King Shark is amazing. King Shark is the best character. I love him. I do have the Shishomaru sweatpants. Ew. And I got Kikyo shirt. I love Kikyo Fafa. Kikyo Shishomaru for life. Everything with Jim is terrible. I deeply hate that. Clayface is obnoxious. Dr. Psycho makes me laugh, but I hate him, and I know he's a misogynist, and I just don't even know why he's even part of the production. And I think overall, it was just, and I know there are women behind the scenes writing it, but the lead cast was just so male. It was so male dominated. I'm like, why do I want to watch a Harley Quinn show with her and Poison Ivy? They can't be a couple because she got to grow into it. She's been broken up with this man for 16 years. I don't care. I don't. And I think that I took that out on the show. And I did it with such confidence because I felt like, to me, it was like, this shit is terrible. And I like wrote this review that was so mean. And the second season gave me things that I wanted. Batgirl, Catwoman, actual female characters interacting with Harley. Love that. That's what I wanted the whole time. I don't like having to watch a whole first season of Harley breaking up with the Joker when she then broke up with him. It's just so repetitive. And then it's a whole season of that, of her doing this thing and her want to be Queen of Gotham. It's like, you don't even got no powers, girl. You have the bat. And I know that the show is popular. I'm in the super minority when it comes to it. And I would say the second season, enjoyed it much more. But even in that, I don't care about Kite Man. I don't care about Ivy and Kite Man. While I think Ivy is interesting and they give her some good one-liners, they made her mad. She got no drip. She have no drip. And I can't deal with a dripless Ivy. She out here upset about Kite Man. Like, I don't know. I want to be loved to Kite Man. His name is Charlie Brown. Well, God, what we here for? I can't do it. But I think that sometimes it's a little bit too, and it's funny because, in the same way I got exhausted by Rick and Morty's most recent series. Oh, thank you, Lamina. Did I say that wrong? I'm sorry. I'm bad at pronouncing stuff, but thank you. Hug back. But yeah, I was like, it's like the same way I got exhausted with Rick and Morty is the same way I got exhausted with this. It's good, but it's not good enough for me to feel like it gave something that I would enjoy. Because I don't like Harley like that. I only really like Birds of Prey Harley. And that's because Margot Robbie brings a lot of things to me. And the thing about it too, and I think this is actually the bigger issue, and then I'll get back to the comments. This ended up going to be longer than I thought it was going to be. I apologize. It was going to be an hour, but I'm enjoying talking to you guys. The issue for me is that at the time that they were doing this whole, like, we don't want to put Ivy and Harley together just yet, is because why that bothered me so much is because in the comics, they have been sidelining and pushing out Ivy and Harley forever. So it was exhausting to like watch a series that was rated this and all of this and can be vulgar and I have to wait 2 seasons for Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy for even Harley. And here's the thing too, I don't mind Harley and Ivy not being together, but why can't their queerness be acknowledged before they're together? They could date other people, they could date other women. Why is the object in between them men? Why? It was too much. It was too much. It was too much. I couldn't take it. But the show is good. It is just not for me. And I am strong enough and wise enough to know the difference. Yes, I will definitely watch Fort Salem Motherland. I gotta sip this gin slower. I'm a gin drinker, guys. It's because I have Irish heritage. See, the Catwoman thing, yes. But again, whenever she talks about dating or anything like that, it's always about dudes. And I don't see Ivy as that character anyway. You know what I mean? Like, it's weird to me. It don't be making no sense to me. I don't like it. I haven't watched Promised Neverland, although I heard season 2 is cray. I heard, and I'm just a little. Also, the weird Jewish jokes in Harley Quinn is like weird to me. Like when I made Oswald Cobblepot Jewish, I was like, since when? To only do an entire episode of Jewish jokes, like, and then eventually cut off his nose, like. It's like, come on, let's not do that. It's awkward. Don't have any time you reference Judaism to make fun of a character and do all the goyish things. Like, that's just, I don't like that. Yeah, I don't like that at all. I don't watch Drag Race. I'm a bad gay. I don't watch it. That's one of the few things I don't watch. This lipstick is good. It's fancy. My messed up nails. I did gel manicure and then I fucking messed it up. I brought up just the fact that like all of the stuff in Wonder Woman 1984 was extra awkward because of Gal Gadot's comments that she made concerning the IDF. So it's like, I don't even know what, like, don't even let the girl step foot in the sand. Like, like, you know, I would be like, girl, you're gonna go to fucking Iceland. You ain't gonna go to fucking Middle East, girl. No. I actually, so I watched Young Justice. Didn't like season 1, but that was way back when. So I should probably rewatch it because Aqualad, you know, love a bisexual king. But yeah, I didn't watch Young Justice. That's the thing too. I know that a lot of the team behind Harley Quinn is Jewish. I don't think it's intentional. I don't think that they try to be anti-Semitic, but like you just like how with Lovecraft Country, like black team, still colorist, it can happen. So it's just one of those weird things. If Pearl from Steven Universe, we're gonna end up with somebody romantically. Who would you want to be? Did you know Pearl is my favorite gem? Pearl is my favorite crystal gem. B-Myth? Biomyth? Bismuth. Yes. Oh, do y'all want to hear my problematic Steven Universe opinion? I had not seen Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, although I should have done that instead of fucking Jane the Virgin. That was my mistake. Oh my gosh. Um, what do you think of Rama One Half? Oh, actually, I really want to get the funds together and hire a a contributor to do a Rama One Half piece with me because I think the trans implications and gender fluid implications of Rama One Half is so interesting. Like, I think that's interesting to me is that no matter what body Radma is in, sorry, I'm feeling a little nasally. No matter what um body Radma is in, Radma's always like, I'm a dude. And I'm like, that's so interesting because that's like, it's like, there's something there. But I'm not the person to talk about it, and I would love to pay somebody to help me talk about it because that is more interesting. My problematic, yes, yes, I met the actress who played Cat Tried. It was so distracting. I'm also an Ally and AJ stan because obviously, they were Jewish, but still, you know how it is. Like you could like, I get it. You making your in jokes with your kid, and that's fine. When it goes out, it can always be weird because she was at like I think. Wait, let me get to the 2 points. First thing, um, this is in my but damn it, my problematic Steven Universe opinion is that I really like Jasper, and I wanted him to be redeemed, and like my toxic um my toxic Steven Universe ship of choice is ship, but not my ship as in like they should be together. As their dynamic is interesting to me is Jasper and Lapis. I ship Jasper. I ship Lapis and Peridot, but the Zutara trash in me sees the flavor of the other solutions. But I will not. That's not my personality though. I believe in problematic things, but I never make them my personality, and that's the difference. Hi, Jesse. Other thing. Damn. What? Uh, what is it? The thing about anti-Semitism in comics is that like almost all characters, um, almost all characters in comics have like a Jewish creator or someone within Judaism that is a creator. But yet anti-Semitism has still flourished in the comics community. And that's why I think that it's important that um that's why I think it's so important that even if you are making jokes and being self-deprecating, because like, and I'm not trying to like talk about it as like to like silence other people, but that like the people who consume this media are not always going to be on your level. You know what I mean? It's like you think about Star Trek, how Star Trek is so progressive, but so many conservatives like it. What you get, just because you are a progressive person and you are writing progressively and you're writing thinking it's going to hit a certain audience, you have no idea who your audience is going to be. And I don't want to hold people to always be accountable to that, but I do think it's always important to remember that like just because your writing room is full of people who are like you and you're making jokes that you think are funny for your community, it doesn't mean that when you put it out there it won't perpetuate harm. It's not to say you can't, but it's just to let know that you can't. It's just for me. You have to be thoughtful about it. Is that how people can be racist and homophobic and be X-Men fans literally blows minds. You're a racist Spider-Man fan? Can't even understand it. I did like Jane the Virgin of Lot, but then Gina Rodriguez just kept foot in mouth, foot in mouth. And I was already Team Petra anyway. So I was like, let me just slide in and out of here, child. I haven't seen The Dragon Prince, although I probably should. Um, excuse me. I love Castlevania. The latest season with the female vampires, I was like, we eat it. It was so it was so good. I was so surprised too. Although I did want the main trio back together, did not want, but Isaac, you're so fucking rude. That show be hitting. That show be hitting. I love Castlevania. The first season is slow, but I say if you didn't like the first season, just skip that whole thing. Just get right to season 2. You don't even need to worry about that first season. Just beat when they beat Alucard. Which the moment that someone told me that Alucard is Dracula in reverse, I was like, Dracula's black, and I had to move on. But yeah, second season is good. Do you think the Song of Ice and Fire will ever be finished? I hope so. So I can find out what happens to Sansa, the only character I care about. Right, Queen? Right. Have I seen Blood of Zeus? I have. I don't like how they do my girl Hera. I don't like how they always gotta make Zeus be like legitimately in love with his rape victims. It's like, no, he's just a rapist. He raped for the sake of rape, and I wish that they would just stop trying to make him a nicer person. He's terrible, so he could just die. Is Castlevania canceled? I ain't hear about that. Let me Google that. No, actually, I'll Google after. I was distracted. I do love Stannis. That's an unpopular Game of Fire. As an unpopular Game of Thrones, Song of Ice and Fire opinion, but I like Stannis. I love Hades. Working on a video about Hades soon, so coming soon. Do, 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 do. Yeah, the Lannisters are like, see, I could get into so much about how the books are like so much better and then how they miss so many things. It's like, but you know, I've talked about that enough. I will say this though, because I think I'm gonna do this for 15 more minutes, and then I need to finish doing this Lovecraft Country video for y'all. So I'm gonna put a timer for myself. 15 minutes and 30 seconds. Let go. Yeah, everything in the books is just overall everything in the books is much more interesting. So that's how I feel about the thing. Have you read Lore? I love Lore. Rachel follows me on Twitter. She's great. It is weird to me that people are so weird about the age gap, like, and like that it's problematic. Like this whole I really, and I said this before, I really get uncomfortable with so much of the puritanical politics that are going in to certain how people discuss certain shows. Like, I just not everything needs that language. So yeah, I love it. I'm enjoying it. I think it's really cute. Um let's see. Play Castlevania. Any fantasy series you've gotten in? No, no new ones. Even though I know that people have issues with her, I have been reading Naomi Novak's book. I think it's called Uprooted. Yeah, Unrooted, whatever it's called, whatever rooted. I've been reading that and I'm enjoying it quite a bit. I've been enjoying that. WandaVision, love. And with an E, y'all don't even know. I cannot bring myself to watch the final season of Anne with an E because I love Anne Shirley too much. I have loved Anne of Green Gables since I was a wee lass. I like have the entire book series, all 8 of them. I love Anne Shirley. I would throw hands for her every time someone would come for her in the show. I get heated. Like, I love it. Can't watch Anne with an E final season because if I do, that means it's over and I can't live like that. So yeah, I can't. Thank you, Amber Ashley. what's your take on Sarah J. Maas? I mean, it was messed up that she killed her only black character in that Throne of Glass series, but I have enjoyed reading the books. I just haven't finished it. I don't think it's canceled. It makes me sad. It's been canceled for a couple of years now, and it's really, really bittersweet. All the Trinity stuff was so good. They had a Canadian Trinidadian writer on that, and they had a Canadian and a First Nations person also working on stuff. So it was so love that. It was so good. It was done so well. Demon Slayer, love it. Love it. How Nesco got more autonomy than some of these shonen girls out here, and she can't even be talking like everybody else because she gotta hide her fans. So Nesco out here living her best life. So yeah, favorite book right now. I've actually just been reading stuff yes, my favorite book right now is, I'm reading it again, is Nubia, A Real One by L.L. McKinney. I'm really enjoying it. I love Nubia. I love that this story is just hella black, talking about what it would be like to be a black heroine and like doing a bunch of good stuff for the character of Nubia, who I've loved and I hope ends up in Wonder Woman 3, since we're definitely getting that movie. Indigenous, unfortunately, was canceled because, like, and it made me so angry because, like, it's already really hard for white passing Indigenous people to discuss their ethnicity. And part of why they are white passing is because they were stolen, and because of the history of rape all across the colonized world. And when white people, when non-Indigenous people talk about their Indigenous heritage with so much clout, without doing the work, it does a disservice to white passing or just non-appearing Indigenous people. Like, do better. Like, do better. Like, I also have, Arawak heritage, but I don't be yanking it around like as if like I know what that identity is like. Like, so just be cognizant of your place in society and how you use your privileges. And it sucks because Trickster was a really good show and now it got screwed over because of all of this. It's really stuff. Thoughts on Malcolm and Marie? It reminds me of why I'm not dating men right now. Like, oh Lord, he was just going on. But what is your ethnicity? Okay, so my mother is from Jamaica. My dad is from St. Lucia. Both my parents are Black. My mother's side of the family has some Asian and some Asian heritage, East Asian heritage, and Irish heritage, Irish and Scots Irish, Douglas and Cook. So, and then on my father's family, we have Indian, and Arawak heritage, and we also have white heritage. But from British, I found out that my great 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 grandfather is from, it was like an admiral in the British Navy. Gross. I was like, ugh. I was like, no, colonizer DNA, no. The Irish and Scottish, I'm like, okay, rock with it a little bit, but then it's like fucking British. You like, ugh, no. That's why I drink my tea with milk. I actually do not personally like writing with patois or any language because I just don't. For me as a writer, that's not how I like to write. But I do like Marlon James's work in the Book of Night with that. I think it's really great. I don't have the skill for it. I'm not good at patois at all. And to me, that would feel like culture vulturing to a degree. So I would not do that. My favorite ship in Inuyasha is not Rin Shishomaru. My favorite ship in Inuyasha is Shishomaru and Kikyo because I only crack ship, baby. um, But yeah, Rin and Shishomaru is like, and I think when I talk about Yashahime eventually, my big point I want to make is that people overall aren't shipping Rin and Shishomaru because of anything having to do with their age discrepancy. It's just because she's the only available woman. It's a shonen. It's a shonen problem. Even when you're even when you're a female writer, like it's so bad. Had to do that family research. Some of my people, some of my family members have actively done that work, so I found it a lot. Do you prefer Charm Prue era or Page era? Prue. Question: can one really be pro-black and comfortably date out of their race? You know what? I am gonna good faith answer this question because I think it is something that is important to talk about. Um, First of all, I think being pro-black encompasses a lot of things. It encompasses your politics in your blackness and outside of it. It encompasses how you support the black community. And it encompasses how you uplift black people. Now, when it has come to me as someone who has two black parents, black love was the default in my household. So I never was trying to aspire to date someone outside of my race, period. But I also was very aware of who was approaching me. Now, in terms of my pro-blackness, what that means is being pro-black trans people, being pro-black homeless people, supporting policies that empower black folk to live their best life, which is why I am left-leaning. It's why I believe in the sort of black Marxist ideologies of the Black Panthers and many things like that. And that is part of being educated. You can be a black person, have a black partner, and perpetuate black harm when you're not educated in what it means to be black politically. Being black politically, in terms of how you give back to your community, give back to your culture, how you fester relationships with other cultures, and how you relate to black people who are not you, is more indicative of your blackness than who you fuck and who you marry. And I say this because many of the interracial politics that we have in America, because I'm American, is based around white supremacy. It is based on keeping other people out of whiteness. Part of why I do research, this one video I'm working on is research about interracial marriages, because interracial politics, one drop rule politics, all exist to keep us out of whiteness. It has nothing to do with blackness or black identity. There have been interracial relationships in this country, not considered otherwise from the beginning. There are founders of black organizations who, by every milestone that we have today, would be considered white. But because society, through the one drop rule, did not gain them the access to whiteness, they have been black. The founder of the NAACP is a full white man by today's politics, but was not a white man in terms of politics of how he grew up, yet pro-black, yet worked for black progress. And that is the key. Do you work for black progress? Because sometimes, yes, ideally would I want to be with a black person? Yes, because I want black children. I want to raise my child within a veil of blackness. But having a black partner does not guarantee that. And that is why your politics must always matter first. Because you can be a whole Clarence Thomas and vote to undermine black autonomy. You can be a whole black person and not fight and march with me. And as a woman, as a queer woman, as an ally to my black trans community, I have no time for anyone whose politics do not occur with that. And if I know the person who will come in these streets and die with me will be my white partner rather than a black partner, then that's just the way it's going to be. Because as a pro-black person, nobody I date will ever have less black politics than I. Period. And I think it's like I would rather be with a white John Brown than a black snitch. Period. And there is no way to go any way around that. So when you ask me how I can be pro-black and be with a white woman, because I don't value that white woman more than I value my black self. or my Black family or my Black sisters. And she knows that. And that's why, for me, when I fight and I do my work, I do it as a Black person. And no white person is going to take my Blackness away from me. And that's how I feel. I think that we must always remember that the Black existence is not tied to the white body until they play the fool. Then you can do what you want to them. But until then, it is important to interrogate, especially when people ask this question, not you, person who asked, but also it's important to interrogate, why do you assume that a colorist person can be pro-Black if they're dating a Black person? If you are supporting the Black community in every way possible, then you're not pro-Black to me. No matter who you marry, what you call yourself. If you are homophobic, you're not pro-Black. You're transphobic, you're not pro-Black. If you're stigmatizing our HIV communities, you're not pro-Black. If you're xenophobic, all that stuff, you're not pro-Black. Because if the only thing you can prioritize is your partner, then you have a very limited idea of what it means to be a Black person anywhere. Boop. So that is my good faith response to that question. And we still have 1 minute left. So I hope that was a good response to that, to the person who asked that. I really did want to answer that in a very good faith, thoughtful way, even though I've had all of that gin. Is that 11% Irish? Ba-da, ba-da, ba-da. But anyway, I think that is a good spot to end that on. And thank you guys so much for coming. I genuinely mean it from the bottom of my heart. Like, I do this because I deeply respect you all. I respect that you spend money on me, that you spend time on me. All of that is valuable. And I will keep this up. I will even try to like lock that clip out if you guys like that. But thank you. I appreciate it. I will do my best to make your subscriptions worth it. And I will see you again for 100,000, baby, because we're going to do it. And to answer the last question of the video, my favorite Sailor Scout is Sailor Mars, because I'm an Aries. Good night. Happy Friday. WandaVision tomorrow. Woohoo!